Slaying Sunna, Abu Ishaq al-Shatibi's concept of Bid'ah in al-Iʻtiṣām, McGill University, 1999, Montreal, Canada, A.S. Jahar. Chapter 2, Conclusion. The censure against singing in general is echoed by the Egyptian Shafi'i scholar Jalaluddin Suyuti, who dies in 911, commensurate with 1505, whether as a matter of worship or custom. For him, such performances typify diversion from the way of the Shari'ah. In addition, he says that Shafi'i himself discredited singing for its tendency to lead a person into error. Suyuti's own opinion towards the censure of singing is less certain. However, for his elucidation of what category of singing falls into is too general to elicit a ruling. Ulama, for instance, as mentioned above, painstakingly condemned innovation or novelty which may be counted as subversive to the Shari'ah or human welfare. Singing to the accompaniment of conventional musical instruments, for instance, is generally regarded as custom and considered to be entertainment. Suyuti, however, generalized in declaring singing to be harmful and censured it. Commenting on the sujood al-shukr, bowing before God as an expression of gratitude, approved by Malik ibn Anas, Shatibi states that if the divine law and the ijma' of the companions are silent on the matter, then, accordingly, it should be discontinued. This follows from his conviction that the main purpose of the law is averting undue difficulty for people. Customs, however, are often seen as being in accordance with maslahah, public interest, a principle which aligns them with the Shari'ah. So, footnote on the issue of sujood al-shukr and Shatibi differing with Malik. Shatibi adopted the example of sujood al-shukr, bowing before God out of thankfulness, as we are informed by Malik ibn Anas. The latter, however, forbade people from engaging in such practice. For Malik, its performance was not stipulated by the Shari'ah, and if the law is silent on it, the only solution is to abandon it altogether. And Ibn Rushd, who dies in 520, commensurate with 1126, also reaffirmed that sujood al-shukr was stipulated neither as an obligation nor a recommendation in the Shari'ah. With respect to tasawwuf, which is Sufism, the path of obedience to God, Shatibi contends that there is nothing in it that can be counted as bid'ah. He attempts a definition of the term prior to making a clear judgment. For him, tasawwuf is comprised of two types of actions. First, to act in the way of the prophetic sunnah and to isolate oneself from evil, and second, to annihilate oneself and to abide only in God. These two definitions actually denote one meaning. Shatibi, however, contends that the former is similar to the conforms of the commandment of juridical rules, while the latter is the result of the former and can therefore be declared as neither lawful or unlawful. Before issuing his final judgment based on legal epistemology, which would determine the juridical basis of bid'ah, Shatibi concludes on the one hand that tasawwuf is lawful insofar as it is defined by and attached to juridical rulings attested to in the Quran and the Sunnah, and unlawful or counted as bid'ah should it contradict or violate the Shari'ah on the other. Al-Shatibi's view is seemingly in line with Qushayri's statement that Sufism was nothing more than spiritual fiqh al-batin. The former, however, challenges the attitude of total submission to a sheikh when seeking to be initiated into a discipline, since any such discipline can only be known from books. The claims of Sufis to be adept at direct communication with God through annihilation and the teaching of the invisible science, alim al-ghaybi wal-arwah, Shatibi insists should be rejected as they are not sanctioned by the pious predecessors, Salaf as-Salih. It is obvious from Shatibi's own statements that Islamic legal theory was for him more binding than speculative reason, which diverges from the epistemology of divine law, and which can lead to bid'ah. In adopting this position, he reformulated his predecessors' concepts of bid'ah, mainly by basing his analysis on the epistemology of Islamic legal theory. Having discussed Shatibi's concept of bid'ah and that of his predecessors, we can conclude that Shatibi differed from both Muslim classical and medieval scholars in his approach to the subject. The latter did not provide us sufficient elaboration from which to develop a new legal or philosophical paradigm, and generally relied only on the evidence of the Quran and the Sunnah in formulating a dogmatic position on this issue. Among the points that distinguish Shatibi's discourse on bid'ah is his development of the argument on istihsan and maslaha mursala, which contradicts with the treatment of earlier scholars. We shall discuss this in chapter 3. And to reiterate, istihsan is that which is deemed to be good, ma yustahsin. Maslaha mursala is the public interest that is mursal, free, because it's free from any textual indicant, which is also an evidence. Stay tuned for chapter 3 and many more parts.